So this video is going to be a comparison of how well the little wizard does, which used to be the metal detector for reclaimed wood that I used, versus the higher end Wizard 5. So basically, initially I got the little wizard, and it comes in this package. Most of my wood I try as best I can to use reclaimed wood, meaning furniture, other various pieces, scrap wood that people are throwing out, etc. A lot of times that means there's either screws or nails or staples, etc. in it. So when I was working on building the cabinet for my drill press, I had a piece of wood, and this was a piece of either the sides, etc., that I was trying to trim for size, and I used this and I went down over all the edges and all the sides, and it didn't beep. But as it turned out, okay, yes, right there you can see two little metal pieces. Turns out that is from a staple. You can't see because of the blue, but right there. So on the edge of this there was a small staple that stuck in, and I ran it through my saw stop, and luckily I was standing out of the way, and also luckily it didn't trip like it's supposed to, which that's good and bad, but it went through and I heard pting, and something sounded like it hit the wall behind me. So I finished the cut because I was almost done. You can see this was almost at the end, and then looked at the offcut, turned everything off, looked at the offcut, and realized, hey, there's a staple in there, that's not good. So I had always figured, alright, if I ever have problems with the saw stop or doing wood with the small unit, I would get the larger. So this is the comparison of the two. So to use it, you turn them on first. They use 9-volt batteries, so when you turn it on initially, you can see the lights, the sensitivity lights up. So what you do for this one, you turn it on until the lights stop going, and then if you have something that's metal, oops, it helps I put it in the camera range. Now granted, that's large, but you would hope if you run it down over the edge, it did not trigger. Run it over this way. You can see I'm going back and forth right across the staple. That time it went. Those other times it doesn't. Which that's not ideal, because unless you scan it and see it, you know, sometimes it goes across, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always there. So the next problem, like that, has trouble detecting it all the time just in this piece of wood. Or the other unit rather, does much better. So this one you have to turn on and you have to wait because it has to reset. Don't be waving immediately until you hear the initial beep, otherwise you will think that it triggered on the board, in which case it didn't. But here there's a laser and there's a sensor. So you can turn the laser on, the sound on, different things. So if we turn the laser on and it triggers on something, you can see this is this far away from the sample. So this one, as compared to the other one, is triggering an inch away. That's much preferred over, sometimes it finds it, sometimes it doesn't when it's actually running along the edge of the wood. So the next test that I want to do is just, these are 3/4 inch pieces of wood. And so if I hold this with the staple running vertically, meaning the prongs are going like this in this orientation. So if I put that under the wood and run this across, it doesn't find it. If I turn it this way, it does find it. So to some extent, it may also depend on what orientation you're going. Now I haven't tried this, but let's see what it does with 2 pieces of wood and that thing. Alright, that's too far. But still, the fact that with a 3/4 inch piece of wood, and you can see it's not triggering there, and it's not triggering there, but if you have this here, it does trigger. So having the staple 3/4 inch in, this will trigger. And I believe if we have the laser on, which I think down is on, let's see if I can get it to trigger this way. Yeah, see there you can see, well, I think you can see. You can see the laser light up when it finds it. So, let's see, we'll hold it a little closer. So that helps you not only have a visual representation of where it is, but also, you know, it tells you for sure, even through 3/4 inch, that it would likely detect this. So I definitely, if I had a recommendation, get this. Yes, it's around 140, 150 bucks, but if you think about it, a good saw blade is 50 bucks. The cartridge is 50 to 75. So right there, if you avoid triggering your saw or avoid damaging your blade, this is a 100% worth it versus this. Now, will the small one work? Yes. If you're lucky and you're looking for larger nails or screws or those sorts of things, this one can work. I have used this in the past for several years and was able to find a number of nails and screws, etc. in various plywoods and 2x4s, etc. But, again, this one, 100% a better purchase, assuming you can afford it, versus the smaller unit. Because again, this one has much better sensitivity, and I definitely recommend it. So, end result is, if you can, get the Wizard 5 because it's awesome if you're using reclaimed wood.